That is, oh, son of a bitch. All right, dude, I'm telling you. What's going on, everybody? Please bear with me. I got to make sure that we're live underneath the right freaking live stream because I believe we just went live on an old ass fucking live stream. I could be wrong.
You've had all this time to get ready.
Oh, you did too, son of a bitch. You
I'm
need
ready.
to just shut. You just need to shut up over there. Welcome to the Mark G Show, Tuesday Night Live podcast, your midweek escape to talk about the latest. All right, we're good. We're freaking good. Dear God, it just decided to give me a heart attack. All right, let me just double check on YouTube. Make sure YouTube is good. Listen, Gary, shit like this happens all the time.
How long have you been doing this? How do you still not know?
Years, okay? We've been doing this for a few years, but it's still technology, man. It fucking changes.
Get your act together.
Get my act together. Who's the one that strolled in casually late today?
Late? We're on time, baby. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're on time, but you casually strolled in, so we weren't able to do like no audio checks, no video checks.
My check was done. I'm logged in. I fixed my weird little video blemish. We're good.
Yeah, okay.
I figured out all my shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. We are not battling Starwake. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to decline you guys right now. We're live on the podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go live. We're going to start off this podcast. Listen, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of interesting shit that's happened throughout this week. So we'll roll into it. But we'll be right back. Hey, we're even live on Rumble. Look at that shit. I just got the Rumble notification. Hot diggity damn. By the way, I'm going to make sure I hit that live. What is going on? Colton Borner.
Make sure you hit record too, dude.
I'm absolutely going to hit fucking record this time, dude. All right. Let me roll into the show. What's going on, Colton? Give me 1 second, y'all. We're going to rock out with the intro here and get this fucking show started. 3, 2. Oh, by the way, real quick, Gary, because I want to try making some auto clips real quickly, take your hands. This is going to sound stupid, but we're going to, on the count of 3, we're going to clap so it causes a spike in the audio. So when I'm editing the clip, so I can do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. At the same time, you dick.
So on 3, is it like 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 clap?
1, 2, 3 clap.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3 clap. How fucking delayed are you?
Try it again.
1, 2, 3 clap. Gary, you son of a bitch. How are you not like on time? All right, you know what? Just clap 3 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Like, yeah, you doing this shit on purpose, you son of a bitch. Are you fucking, you son of a bitch? I'm trying to get an audio level.
That's an audio level. You can use that.
Yeah, I fucking hope so. All right, chat, let's get this fucking show on the road. Dear God. All right, we're recording.
You've known them to run their mouths about politics. Politics, schmalitics. Well, little did you know, they can run their mouths about other stuff as well. This is the Mark G Show. They have a natural curiosity about just about everything, from aliens, the paranormal, to the biggest natural disasters that have ever occurred on planet Earth, and everything in between. 2 brothers from another mother ripping it up. And, oh no, we don't record the show. We have the balls to do it live. Call into the show at 207-370-5852. That's 207-370-5852. Be a part of the show. Let's do it. This is the Mark G Show. And now your hosts, Mark G and Gary G.
Dear God, what is going on, everybody out in the TikTok land, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, Rumble? What is going on? What's happening? Dave Sr., how you doing there? How's everybody doing? Holy shit. We're here. I didn't think we were going to get here. I almost thought I was going to have to run the podcast solo. Country Pip, the phone lines are not working. TikTok did some weird stuff. So I got to work on the audio side of things to get our phone line. I promise once we get the phone lines up and running, the phone number will be changing. The whole intro will actually be changing. But before we get into the show, I got some sad but maybe good news. It could be an opportunity for somebody out there. So I'm going to put it out there as of right now. I don't even think I told Gary yet. Zach is stepping down from the podcast. Zach is unable to do it for life. He's got some things going on right now personally that he has to take care of, and he will not be here. So since Zach is stepping down, I am offering anybody who may have somewhat of a recording setup or have a nice little setup where they can go live and be a third commentator with Gary and I, bring us in a different aspect. It would be great. I would love to have a third person roll in with us to, have that great conversation, because 3 is always better in my opinion. 2 people, listen, Gary and I can talk for fucking hours and get into it. JC is saying, Gary, you're my hero. Holy shit, JC Hunter. That's a person maybe we can get on the podcast quite a bit. JC would be a phenomenal third wheel on the podcast. I think JC would be pretty badass to constantly have up on the podcast. What are your thoughts, Gary?
Yeah, I like JC.
JC, if you're down, my man, hit me up. Maybe we can get you starting to get on the podcast on a weekly basis with us, my man. I know you got hunting and stuff, but I'd love to get you on the podcast.
What's going on with Zach? Is it burning when he pees?
I think it is. I think it's burning when he pees, and it's burning when he shits too. So he's got the fire coming out of every end, my man. So he's just got to take a few weeks, maybe a couple months off. He said so.
All right.
JC says he's down. Listen, JC, I will set it up, my man. I will give you a call or a text, and we'll get you set up for next week. And I would love to have you on here, JC. I think you bring a whole nother perspective. Oh, by the way, folks, we will be live on election night. I'm not sure if Gary will be able to make it. I'm hoping he is, but we will be live on election night. It will be on a Tuesday night.
I was just going to say, what day is that going to be? Tuesday, and what is it, the 5th?
Yeah, Tuesday the 5th. We'll be covering a couple of different sources, news sources for that. So we may get unoriginal, whatever, but we're going to be following the polls and we're going to see what's happening. I think it'll be fun. Yeah, JC, Christopher says, oh boy, another drink. Ooh, we could tie it in for a drinking game for you, JC. Well, I'll have to find another person that drinks so that can.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're drinking solo, though. So as long as you're okay with that, we can make that work.
I mean, if we can find a fourth that's willing to be down on election night to be live with us, KC, if you are down, I will bring you in on election night, KC, and we will have you out there drinking as well. That would be great. I wonder how drunk we can get them. We'll have to think of what we can do for a drinking game for the election night. That'll be a good one.
I pulled up the Poly Market just for shits and giggles. 63% Trump, 37% Kamala.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking insane, ain't it?
Pretty interesting.
I can pull up the Poly Markets. We'll probably cover the Poly Market at some point tonight anyway. So let me pull up the Poly Market on here just so we have the website up and going here. Because, we'll probably talk about the Poly Market. Let's talk about number one. Kamala Harris took today off. She was saying that Donald Trump was the lazy one. You've seen that all over the news, right? So she was like calling Trump lazy and that, he has to cancel all the stuff. But yet he is getting ready to be on, as we were talking earlier, Joe Rogan on Friday.
So Kamala's 88% in Maine, wasn't it? 99 and then 1 for Maine?
Yeah, she has gone down a little bit in Maine, which is good.
That's interesting.
Right? Kamala swirling down the toilet, Dave says. Dave, listen, I don't want to, let me get in one more thing before we get going, because I don't want to get in trouble on all social media platforms. Folks, everything you're going to hear on tonight's show is the views and opinions of myself, my brother, and anybody else that may come on to the show. And this show is for entertainment purposes only. All right, now that we got that, fuck you, JC. I do not vote blue, my man.
Yeah, Mark's a Democrat.
Yeah, fuck y'all. I am far from a fucking Democrat. If y'all saw the front of my house right now, well above all my Halloween decorations right now is a big ass Trump flag that says fight, fight, fight. Right on the front of my house.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were a true patriot, you wouldn't be wearing a dirty ass MAGA hat.
Listen, this dirty ass MAGA hat, this thing, listen, I'm a working man. My hats don't stay clean, Gary. Some of us don't have a sweet office gig like you, okay? Some of us actually work with our hands and we sweat when we work.
Oh, I sweat when I work, trust me.
You sweat on your ass, really?
I was just going to say, usually booty sweat, but...
I was going to say, some of us actually have hard-working jobs, Gary.
Hey, my job is hard, bro.
I'm not saying your job ain't hard, but, some of us actually do physical work, physical labor.
I work with my brain because I know how to read.
Fuck off. I know how to read too, you dick.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so another thing too, I'm going to give everybody a full warning. We have, there's a couple things. Like for those who know me on TikTok, we do this thing on TikTok. It's called Toxic Boxes. We run it for 4 weeks straight, which we pick out 4 winners, 1 winner out of each game. The following game after that is called the championship, where they compete it out to see who will win. The prize for the winner on this championship, which happens next Sunday, will actually take over a podcast episode for 1 full episode. They choose the topic.
Do not let Sully do that shit again because he...
No, well, here's the thing. We don't want KC to win neither. KC's already stated what he wants to do if he wins.
Let him do it. What's he going to do?
If he wins, he wants to make it a pro Kamala Harris.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we cannot let KC.
Podcast.
Yeah, it's absolutely a parody podcast because I don't know how. I don't know. We cannot let KC win, and no, we'll never let Sully take over a podcast again. No, Sully. That episode.
One and done.
Listen, JC was phenomenal. JC hung in like a trooper during that one. I thought Sully was going to come in prepared for his podcast takeover and be ready to word it out and talk everything. But he couldn't. He was sat there and froze up like a deer in fucking headlights. It was a horrible podcast takeover. Absolutely horrible.
Podcast takeover, which is absolutely nothing in the mind of Sully.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what's in the mind of Sully. Listen, I love the guy like a brother, but I don't know if there's
ghosts, conspiracy theories. He's just rife full of all the good stuff.
He is. I think even Sully's one of those flat earthers, to be honest with you. I think Sully is a firm believer in a flat earther.
I mean, I wouldn't be too
Oh dear
surprised.
God, please no. Don't you tell me you're falling down the damn flat earth fucking scene, Gary.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if Sully was a flat earther. I mean, the military just fucking, they take anybody in nowadays, so.
That's true. That's fucking true. Oh, dear God. I think Sully scored like a 15 on his ASVAB. He got like 30 different waivers to get in, so it was great.
Yeah, I think you get 35 points for your name being spelled right.
Yes, this podcast is being recorded, Boca Joe. We are about ready to jump in, ladies and gentlemen. It's
now
been a crazy week.
Sully.
It is absolutely roasting Sully, y'all. Folks, it's kind of interesting. I think Sully might be working right next to Donald Trump here in the near future. Donald Trump was serving up French fries, Happy Meals, and so forth at McDonald's just recently. It was phenomenal. The liberals are absolutely crying over this and spewing out their hate. They're all calling it rigged. They're saying it was all staged. Well, number one, I want to get this out there. I told my wife I was automatically going to bring this one up. If you didn't think that the Secret Service was going to vet everybody who came through that drive-through for Donald Trump to serve, you've got a bunch of fucking screws loose. Listen, to everybody who's liberal crying about Donald Trump being staged at McDonald's, the Secret Service has to screen these people. How many attempts was it? 3, 4 attempts already on this man's life? So, of course, they're going to vet everybody who's going to drive through that drive-through to make sure there's not another attempt on Donald Trump's life. That's it. I mean, it's crazy that they're crying about this. And they're all upset that he did this. But Kamala Harris went on what was it, the Call You Daddy or Call Me Daddy fucking podcast? Like, that is a woman who's like, that podcast is all dedicated to abortions.
Like, they call her daddy? Call
her daddy. Yeah, call her daddy. I mean, I guess it's a big podcast. It's mainly women in their 20s that listen to it. But
it's feminists who can't give a definition of what a woman is.
Yeah, exactly. Sully says Donald Trump. Listen, Sully. Oh, man. Sully, we're going to bring you on this podcast one of the times when we're doing an alien and haunted house show. And we're just going to rock it out with you. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, I'm gonna ignore Sully as we're talking about this. But yeah, it was kind of cool. And then, of course, speaking of Trump and fries, my mother, who's a big one about misinformation and is always like complaining about my post. I saw her post a video of Trump like woofing down fries, like taking the container and putting it in his mouth. And I watched the video for a second, instantly noticed it because, as everybody knows, I love artificial intelligence and play with that shit. I responded back. She hasn't commented back. I was like, so you say misinformation, you whine about it, but yet you shared a legitimate video that was created by AI. Like, come on. I don't know, but let's look at some news, Gary. Let's talk about the political moves and campaigns. Kamala Harris has been actively campaigning, positioning herself as a pragmatic capitalist to Latino voters amidst claims by Trump of her being a Marxist. Well, I'm going to say this. Donald Trump is leading. As I watched the news earlier today, Donald Trump is leading with the Latino groups. So he is in the lead with Latinos, which is a plus. I think right now the Democrats are trying everything. I don't want to put it too much in the air, but I honestly think it could possibly be a major landslide for the Republican Party this time around. I do. And JC says Mississippi has already put their electoral votes in. And are you fucking kidding me, JC? Seriously? Is everybody in Mississippi has already voted?
Well, it's an electoral college, so the popular vote.
It's not the popular vote. There's a popular vote and the electoral college vote. Because remember, when Hillary Clinton ran against Trump,
the electoral votes are in.
So that is fucking insane. Let's go with Mississippi already giving in their freaking electoral college to Trump.
Well, it was 99-1 according to Polymarket, and they have 6 electoral votes. So
no shit. Well, let's go. You know what? Let's go with it. I fucking love it. So, yeah, I mean, I think right now the Democrats are absolutely fucking scared, dude. And I think after this Friday with Donald Trump's interview with Joe Rogan, it's going to be fucking insane. It is going to be insane. Folks, since we're already talking about this, we can get to some other news here. But since we're already on the politics side of things, what we're going to do is we got this cool little thing that I can do now. We're going to swap over to our screen share. And we're going to pull up our Polymarket, which, because everybody's heard Gary mention Polymarket multiple times already. So let's pull up our Polymarket over here. Boom. Oh my God. So sweet. Look at that shit. It's already there. That is fucking awesome. All right, folks. So as y'all heard Gary talking about earlier, and listen, folks, if you're watching on TikTok, just flip your phone sideways and you can actually watch it and see this in full screen now, by the way. We got it set up so you can watch this in full screen, baby. All right, we got Donald Trump, as Gary said, 63%. With Kamala Harris sitting at a 37% chance of winning the electoral college vote. So Donald Trump is in the lead. And
just to be clear, Polymarket is just...
it's a betting app.
It's a betting thing. So these numbers may have some reflection of reality, but they could also be drastically wrong. We don't know, right? It's for shits and giggles, and this is a entertainment purposes only.
But we will say this, the betting market did predict Tim Walz. The betting market did predict Tim Walz, and Tim Walz was selected. So there's a bunch of people that won. So, I mean, it will be very interesting to see what happens. So, what was it? Mississippi. And you just looked over at Mississippi on the map?
Yep.
So, yeah, Mississippi was a 99% chance that Trump was going to get the 6 electoral votes, and it's been confirmed by J.C. Hunter. Yeah, listen, JC, I can't speak on the behalf of Maine, okay? I think Maine's been drinking a lot of nasty water. I think they're getting that water out of Poland Springs, must have done something to the water because, yeah, I don't know why Maine is still blue. I don't. Maine's turning red, though. Don't hold back Maine just yet. Maine is slowly turning red. Last week, as Gary was saying, when we were talking about Maine was, Kamala Harris was what, 99, you said?
It was 99% Kamala and then 1% Trump.
Yeah, so Maine has moved a little bit. Last week, it was 99% Kamala Harris, 1% Trump. Now it's 88% Harris with 12% Trump. So Maine is moving in the right direction. So let's see. Yeah, well, also, don't forget, in Maine, Trump signed into law to help out the lobstermen and allowed them to move further out in the waters to do lobstering. When Biden went back into office, he retook that off of the table and made it so the lobstermen could not go further out into the ocean to lobster. So he took back what Trump acted. So therefore, the lobstermen lost some business or lost like getting their certain amount of lobster in. I'm not a big lobstering. I used to, so I was told I can't eat it no more. But so I've lost track of it. So yeah, so he definitely does not have the fisherman vote. I can promise you that. Kamala Harris does not have the fisherman vote. I can tell you that. Because remember, folks, Kamala Harris said she's not going to change a thing. Every time she's been on a podcast, they ask her, "You going to change up anything? Are you going to do anything different?" And she says, "I would not change a thing." So if you folks want another 4 years of high, inflation, 4 years of possibly being, well, I think within that we'd be in a full blown war. If there was another 4 years of this administration, I think we'd have boots on the ground. I honestly do. Gary's in a deep thought over there. You can see it. What,
Nope.
Gary?
Just continue. No.
No, you sure? You feel?
Yeah.
I feel like you want to say something, Gary.
I'll let you finish your thought.
All right, so underneath Kamala Harris, I think we'll see. I think we'll have boots on the ground somewhere else. I know we already have somewhat of boots on the ground, but not as many. But I think we'll have more boots on the ground if we have 4 years of Kamala Harris. And I definitely see inflation going up higher. Did watch something about BlackRock and all the military industrial bases buying up more houses to make people rent more. So therefore, home ownership will be even harder for people to become home ownership. So there's a lot of scary shit that you're facing underneath the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz administration.
So I want to tap onto that last little thing you just said because
Go for it.
I'm a fan of Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you know who Charlie Kirk is.
I do. Yep.
Okay, so I was watching one of his little snippets the other day, and he made a proposition that I thought was pretty cool. And he was saying that it should be, I don't know if it would be illegal or what the exact verbiage was, but it was basically something along the lines of like institutions like BlackRock and Vanguard should not be allowed, or like any hedge fund manager with, I don't know what he said, $100 million in assets, whatever. They should be banned somehow or another against buying residential single-family home properties, because of what they're doing is exactly what you said. They just keep buying up all these residential properties and then they're renting them out. And that definitely takes away, any opportunity for any family. Although right now, how many families are making $120,000 a year to where they can even afford to get into a new home or whatever, but it's taking away the opportunity for families and to own property. And I think that's a pretty good, I think that's a pretty good proposition. I feel like something like that should be taken seriously and taken into consideration by any leader of the free world. I think that's a really good thing.
I 100% agree with
Like
you.
we
Let's say
own
the
property,
Chad's
right?
agree with you.
So it's like we own property, and it's like we want our home values to go up, right? That's like the American dream. You buy property, and in 30 years before you die or whatever, it's worth more than it was when you bought it.
Correct.
And that's cool and all, but it's like at the end of the day, just owning a little slice of pie for your family, and you can pass it down to your kids or whatever the case is. I feel like that American dream has all but been shattered. And I work in the building supply world, and I do see a lot of my clients who are building homes, and they work in new home construction, and they're a part of these like neighborhoods that are being put up, these developments, and so they're busy. And I know that homes are being bought and sold still, but I would like to see a larger percentage of Americans able to buy a home and own just a small little slice of pie for themselves and their families. And yes,
Right.
it would be, Tyson, it would be a better answer to make the houses more affordable, or for people to be able to make a livable wage. And I don't know how to do that. I'm not an economist, and I don't know how all of that works, but I do think it would be great for, Mark's losing his shit right now. I do think it would be great for homes to become more affordable and people to just make enough money simply to afford them.
If you can just keep talking for a minute, Gary, I've got a kid aggro going on right now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, again, I don't, I do know that, I am rambling, Dave. I do know that under Trump, homes were more affordable, but I don't know what the economics of that were. Was that people making more money? I feel like they were making more money. I don't know what he did to keep the costs of houses, within reach for the average American, but I would like to see property become more affordable again. Chat, what do you think? Is there an easy answer to this, or what do you think the solution is? Because I'm not an economist. I don't know how all that works, and I know that it took 20 years or so for my wife and I to be able to afford to do this. And I know my brother's been working his ass off for about 20 years to be able to get his head above water and afford his home. So what does it take?
Takes quite a bit. So let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for my stepping away. For those who don't know, listen, I'm a father of 5, still got 3 underneath my roof. My house gets chaotic. And I record the podcast in my studio, which my studio is right across the room from my little one's room. So yeah, we got that going on. So what was you touching base? You're touching base. I saw Tyson talking about affordable, but Tyson, one thing you guys got to look into too is we're trying to get the inflation fixed as well, because I'm not sure if everybody knows this. As you've seen, all the house prices are fucking soaring right now. And house prices are soaring because of inflation. If we can get inflation under control, the prices of homes will actually come under control as well. So keep that in mind. The inflation right now is killing us. And nobody's buying rent. No one can afford to buy. I mean, think about the mortgage companies right now. Mortgage companies are declining a lot of people because no one's really making the money to afford a $400,000 to an $800,000 home. It's fucking insane. Well, Gary and I were actually, you and I were browsing on Zillow not long ago. And it's absolutely crazy. I mean, what was it in Maine? There were some houses in smaller towns in Maine going for almost about $1 million.
And that's
fucking crazy.
That's bananas.
It is.
Like I was when my wife and I moved up to Oregon 6 years ago now. We wish we had moved up here, 3 years before that, because homes were significantly more affordable. And then when we bought, I wouldn't say it was the peak of the market, but it was pretty fucking close. Like there was a handful of times that not only did we get outbid on homes that we made offers on, but it was like, I remember one instance where there was like 22 people bidding on a property, and every single one of them bid more than we did. And it wasn't even like a super nice house. It was, 1,500 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath, little yard, like nothing too extravagant, but we got outbid by 22 people.
Jesus Christ.
And like, that's crazy if you think about it. 22 people were willing to put more money than what we
People had money back then too, was able to bid up higher. So, and that's the thing, like JC was saying, 400K, really people can't afford 200K now, 100%. Now in those houses were 130K, even exactly, JC. It's insane. Because look, I bought my house. We bought our house. I think our house was $260,000, and we bought our house right after everything started getting lifted up from COVID. And now our house is valued at, what did I say it was, Gary? When we looked at it, was like $400,000. It like pretty much doubled in its price in just in like 4 years. It's fucking crazy.
And it's all about location, right? So it's like you want to live on the coast or in Texas or LA, completely unaffordable. I just pulled up homes for sale on Zillow in Oklahoma. So here's one in Oklahoma City, 1,600 square feet, 3-bed, 2-bath for $235. And I know people who live in the Oklahoma City area, And this house looks phenomenal, but it's fucking Oklahoma City. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Oklahoma City. I'm sure it's a beautiful place to live, but
God, I hope no one's from Oklahoma is in here. Go on.
no, I don't know. I know people who live there and they love it. So
Okay.
I know that it's not a bad place to live. But it's like I'm kind of partial to living on the West Coast, and it's like we moved up to Oregon because we couldn't afford to buy in Southern California. And the weather's beautiful down there, and it's like it's hard to leave, but coming up here has been great, aside from the turn that most major cities have taken.
Taken over by the blue hairs.
Well, it's just, even red cities, like the homelessness is up, the crime is up, the drug use is up. But even before that, and right now, downtown Portland's pretty beautiful. Like you can walk around down there and you can still feel moderately safe, but there's still a lot of crime. There's still a lot of cars being broken into. I follow the Portland subreddit, and it's like, I don't want to say it's every day, but it's pretty often where someone's like, my car has been broken into for the 5th time, and it's shattered windows. Some dude shared an experience of walking down the street with his child, and it's like there's still a bunch of people on fentanyl doing the fentanyl zombie walk, and like it's kind of heartbreaking because it wasn't like that. It wasn't as bad as it is now, which is not even
Right.
close to as bad as it was at its peak. But when we first moved up here, we would go like one weekend we would go to the city to shoot street photography, and then the next weekend we go on a hike and shoot like landscape nature photography, right?
Right.
And so it's like I've only gone downtown to shoot street photography a handful of times, like this year. And it's like not that I have a super fancy camera, but it's not a shitty camera. And same with my wife. And it's like, you do kind of got to be on your toes if you're walking around with halfway decent camera gear, just because like it's like you just got to be on your toes a little bit more than you had to.
Right.
I
No,
forget
man,
where I'm
it's
going with this.
the crime. I don't know where you're going. It's fine. The crime rate is insane right now. The crime rate is, it can be adjusted to, number one, the inflation, more people being broke. So the crime rate's going up because more people are, doing shit that they shouldn't be doing to try to afford food to get in their stomach. They lost their home. So what are they doing? They're causing crime. But we also have crime on the other side due to the open borders right now. The illegal immigration's coming in. The Venezuelans, there we go. I'm going to say it fucking right this time. They've been taking over apartment buildings and complexes out in Colorado and in Texas, which is absolutely fucking crazy. I don't think Colorado's really done anything. Texas, I know, has had SWAT teams going in and getting them all out of there. So we got that going on. So there's the crime. But also, I saw Tyson make a comment regards to raising up the payroll, paying out more for payroll. So I do want to, as a small business owner, Tyson, I do want to plug into this one. My brother and I, we've argued a couple of times on certain aspects of this, but I'm going to tell you one thing. When you have to raise payroll in order to pay somebody more money, the cost does eventually get back down to the consumer, which, of course, is going to raise inflation. Now, the problem that you're seeing right now, where you're seeing a lot of mom and pops and a lot of small businesses right now closing their doors because they cannot afford to pay their employees $20, $25 an hour to work if they're trying to keep in the same price right so they're not hurting on their customers. And the reason why these main big chain corporations are staying open is because they're doing some shady ass shit when they're hiring people. I've talked about this before. Large corporations like Walmart, even McDonald's, Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, just to name off a few. What they do is they hire people on there, and they hire them on for $20, $25 an hour, but they're keeping them on as a part-time employee. They're going to get anywhere between 10, maybe 20 hours if the person's lucky a week. So that way they don't have to pay out on workman. They don't have to pay out as much on workman's comp. They don't have to pay out as much on the health insurance. And it saves them money, and they can just hire a flux of fucking people to come in as part-timers, and that's how they get away with it. And unfortunately, because they do that, mom and pop stores aren't able to hire these people because they got these people working crazy fucking hours to make ends meet, and the mom and pop shops have to close down. It's insane. As a small business owner in Maine, I'm experiencing that. Luckily, I was working, Gary can contest, I worked pretty much this whole summer, 7 days a week. nonstop because I couldn't find anybody. Because number one, yeah, my business sucks for hours. We work nights. I own a commercial cleaning company. I work nights. So, no one ever wants to work nights anymore. But at the same time, some of these big corporate cleaning companies out here, they're paying people 25, $30 an hour. And I can't match that as a small business owner. I can't. Exactly, Tyson. There is no insurance if they're part-time.
And another thing, just on top of that, to kind of agree with you, there are even these large corporations, whether they're trying to nickel and dime people by, making them part-time so they don't have to offer benefits. There are some that are not doing that, right? And then they're like, this is kind of like an exaggeration, but it's a bit of an exaggeration with some truth into it. So it's like these companies report, we had a record-breaking year this year, but we can't afford to, give out bonuses or anything like that. So here's a fucking pizza party to celebrate. And it's like, there was some studies that were done 10 or 12 years ago or so talking about like companies offering food, makes for like a happier workforce or whatever. But I'm willing to bet that instead of offering them a free lunch once a week, twice a week, once a month, whatever it is, paying them a little bit more would probably make them a little happier.
Yeah, like an extra $150, like $50 to $100, even extra, just surprising them or whatever into their paycheck would.
It's like, so I work for a company.
But then again, we roll into the payroll taxes, and unfortunately, taxes is going to eat that.
So there's ways around that though, and if you have if you have a CEO that's creative, and I worked for one that what he would do was it was considered a marketing expense. So it was a write-off, right? Advertising and marketing is some sort of write-off in business. Right. I don't know exactly how, but it is.
It is.
And so he would gift MasterCard gift cards for like $500 to the employees. And it's like those gift cards were also used as like, thank you for, they were used for, thank you for the customer or whatever. And there would be prizes or whatever for customers and thank you stuff like that, whatever. But, to get a $500 MasterCard gift card, that's not payroll. Like that's not on your check. Like here is a.
All right, so they don't get taxed. That's a way around. So the employee does not get taxed.
So it's like those types of things, the IRS might not like it, but you give an extra $500 to your employees. That's a tax exempt type little thing. While, Uncle Sam might not like that, but your employees fucking love it. Because they can use that for literally anything. If they need new shoes, if they need food, if they need gas, that's just a little extra money that doesn't get taxed that they can spend on either necessities or just, get their kids some nice clothes or new glasses or help with paying for braces or whatever it is. So I think that there are creative ways around that shit. And I wish that more executives in these companies would try to find ways to do that because I
can see the bigger corporation, like JC was saying, he's a small business. He goes, yeah, but the money has to go to consumer. If I'm paying more for employee, then I have to make up by charging more.
Yeah,
I get what he's saying on that.
Yeah,
I even like JC was saying, he had 17-year-olds coming and saying they want $15 an hour right off the bat and say I'll go somewhere else if I can't get it. Dear God.
Yeah, well,
they're just starting on the workforce.
Yeah,
they should be getting minimum wage.
Yeah, I had a friend who was a graphic designer, and he had just graduated school, and he was demanding $40 an hour to do work. And it's like, yeah, you have a skill, and you're really good at it, but there are people who are better than you and have been in the industry for 20 years, and they're barely making $40 an hour. So it's like, I understand that things are expensive, and we all have to, we all have things that we have to pay for. But when you're just starting out, like everyone else, like you have to work for a little while, build a portfolio that proves that you can get shit done in time and you show up every day and you're not late, you're not fucking full of excuses and calling out and all the bullshit. Like
You're not sitting on the shitter watching TikTok for a freaking half hour at
it's
work.
It's like every person has a worth, right? Like every person has a net value worth. I get it. Everybody is worth something, but not to just fucking schlub, right? Like you have to, like, just being alive doesn't mean you deserve this amount of money. Like, not everything is equal. Life isn't always fair. Like, that's just unfortunately the reality of existing. Like we have hierarchy in society as a species, and so do animals. Like if you look at, what is it? Like coyotes, right? For example, like they roam in a pack. Like there's a hierarchy in that. There's a hierarchy with fucking lobsters. Like there's a hierarchy in society.
I don't know. Lobster's pretty fucking cheap here. It's just down where you guys are at. The lobster's fucking
No. I'm not talking about cost. I'm talking about the species.
Oh.
Like if you have 500 lobsters, like there's a hierarchy. There's a pecking order in that little animal kingdom. And that is no different than people. Like not everybody is equal.
Right.
Like some people are full of excuses and problematic to work with. Like those people, sorry, but those people should not be compensated the same as somebody who shows up, works extra hard, puts the extra work into polishing. Like with your commercial cleaning business and every cleaning business, there are people who don't do a good job. And then there are people who do a really good job.
Right, exactly.
Right?
The ones that do good get paid better. The ones who do shit gonna get paid shit, pretty much.
Or they're just not going to be hired for a long time, And that's just the reality of it. And it's like there's a lot of people who are the lazy, shitty workers, and they're demanding, I got a degree in fucking whatever, so I'm worth more. And it's like, yeah, but you're a lazy, shitty worker.
So I want to touch up as you were rambling on over there. Sully posted something. He goes, yeah, but you have to go with a cost of living. If everything goes up, you should pay. So if you go by that logic, Sully, if everything goes up, so the employer must raise the pay. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Everything's going to keep going up, and you're going to demand more pay. As employers have to keep paying employees more money, the employer is going to have to raise their prices to cover the cost of that. So therefore, the cost of living goes up and it costs more. And guess what happens to your pay raise? There's no pay raise because it's not going to feel as if you get a pay raise. So therefore, how do we get people to start saving money to make businesses level out? The thing is, you want to make that money and you want to level out. So let me retouch on a couple of things that Donald Trump did say. He wants to drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, make America energy independent again. When we do that, gas prices will go down, which means what happens when gas prices go down? Truckers are able to run more on the road and keep their prices lower for the stores, which means if the stores are getting their products at a cheaper price because the truckers don't have to charge them as much for the gas, which means your prices are going to start leveling out, which means inflation will come at a halt. Some of your stuff will go down, but you're right. Inflation never does go backwards, but you will see it on certain ends, and you will start seeing those pay raises that you got starting to level out where you're actually making money and you're actually keeping a paycheck versus paying to your bills and just freaking trying to figure out whether you're going to buy gas or buy food that week.
The market does keep itself in check. And I'm not going to say that things are ever going to go back to the costs that they were in 1988, right? But like I work for a company and we import all of our shit from overseas. And so when we're paying $2,000 for a container of product, our prices reflect that. When we're paying $18,000 per container to get product over here, our prices will reflect that. Same thing with not only finished goods, but raw material. Even if we manufacture here, we're still bringing in that raw material from some other place, right? We don't have all of the raw materials and all of the manufacturing here domestically in the States. So a lot of that stuff gets imported. And when it does, like the cost of fuel, that affects things. And like you're saying, if it costs too much money for a trucker to bring some eggs or clothing to a supermarket, that supermarket then has to raise or lower its price to accommodate, to make sure that they're meeting whatever margins they need to meet in order to keep the lights on, keep people paid. But the problem is when they're hitting record profits and they're still not,
Right.
you know.
Sorry, I got a little excited. I saw a comment, but I was waiting to see you
No,
finish.
no. That's it.
No, I just got excited because JC said something that I've been saying in multiple different podcasts. Believe it or not, I've gotten shit from clips after saying this. I do agree that the Senate and the House do need to have term limits. I absolutely 100% agree with that. Now, I will tell you, there's clips of me saying that I believe that Senate and House deserve term limits. And then people will come back and rebuttal me to say they do by voting them out. But listen, if the president of the United States can get elected in office, but they can only do 2 terms, a total of 8 years, why don't we allow the Senate and the House to do 12? That allows them to go 4 over for the transition. And at end of 12 years, their asses have to get out. No matter what, they're getting voted out. We voted new ones. But they can't run again, just like the presidency. A president cannot run for a president again after they've done 8 years, after they've done 2 terms. And I say you do a 3-term max on the Senate and the House and be done. I think that'd be great.
So pros and cons on that.
Okay, let's hear.
No, I'm saying there's got to be pros and cons on everything, right?
Right.
So,
Exactly. I mean, the pros are going to be, number one, you're not going to have a complete House and Senate control constantly if you do that. Number two, it's not going to allow them to do the insider trading BS that they are being accused of right now. You got to think, these politicians, if they go in, we'll say they start at 30 years old, and they don't leave, we'll say they're freaking out by the time they're fucking 80. These fuckers stay in there for 30, 40, 60 fucking years. And by the time they come out, they're millionaires.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be. Working for the American people, you should not be coming out as a millionaire. They are making more money than our men and women that are currently fighting for our right to do what we're doing now. They're making more money than that, and that's ridiculous. The men and women who are dying for our country get pissed on and shit on and barely make ends meet. Meanwhile, we got people sitting on their fat Dorito eating asses in fucking office making up laws and regulations for us.
Now, a con to that, and I'm playing devil's advocate.
Oh, no, I get it.
For the sake of doing it. So I guess a drawback to that could potentially be trying to bring in people who lack experience, and they don't have the wisdom. They don't have, they're going to lack experience ultimately. And that's like, what's going to happen, right? When you have these people who are in positions of authority and are making or need to make very high level decisions, right? Like, does that leave the opportunity there on the table to like have people who are just potentially not right for the job being pulled in?
So we vote them out in 4 years if they're not well educated. Just like every other job, though, you kind of got to start off. So maybe we've got to come up with some guidelines for anybody who's going to run for Senate and House. Maybe they've got to do so just like we do with the presidency. They have to have certain guidelines before they can run for president.
Yep.
So therefore, you do the same thing for the House and Senate. And they have to match these guidelines in order to get in. But just like every other job, you're kind of going in blind and learning as you go. Mm-hmm. So during that transition period, we'll say we do a term limit on the Senate and the House, there's going to be a transition period just like the presidency. So the president is elected in November 5th, but they don't get inaugurated until January. So what is that, a month and a half, right, when they get inaugurated? I believe it's a month and a half after election.
I mean, it's almost 2 months, but yeah.
2 months. Okay. So after that, and then basically they get swift away to the cabin and they get briefed on everything that's going on prior to their presidency. So if that's the case, you do the same thing. When you're outing out the Senate and the House, they got to bring in the new ones, run them down on everything that's happening, the current bills that are in place, give them a quick breakdown, and they start over. I believe that's the best way to do it. This way here, it minimizes like JC's saying, minimizes the corruption that we're having. There's always going to be corruption. No matter where you go, there's always going to be corruption, right? But right now, you got to admit that in our government, we have a high amount of corruption. So this can minimize the corruption, and it will stop making the fucking millionaires that we currently have in the House and up in the Senate and the House right now. We have multiple millionaires, and it's because they've been there for 30 to 40 fucking years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look at Nancy Pelosi and her inside trading, even though...
No, she's just the best investor ever to exist.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm a rock millionaire, and I just hide it from everybody.
Yeah, you identify as a blue-collar middle class.
Yeah, that's it. I just identify as a blue-collar middle-class American. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's just that's my opinion, folks. You can like it, agree with it, disagree with it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But let's rock it out. We've been talking a little bit about politics, and I love talking about politics as we're getting close to election. And yes, Sully, I know you're just fucking around with us, my man. I see your text message over there. What was I going to say? Folks, I am actually going out and voting tomorrow. I will be voting for the felon. I will be voting for Donald J. Trump tomorrow. I'm getting my early voting in.
I thought you were waiting until Election Day.
We decided we're going to vote early, just get our votes in.
Okay.
We decided it's time to vote early. And folks, if you can vote early, I guess you can vote early up until November 31st. No, October 31st. Dear God.
I was going to say that's.
I just suffer from Bidenism there, please. But yes, don't lie, Mark. You're going to go. No, I am not going to go blue, JC. So I'm going to vote early.
Blue-blooded Democrat over here.
Yeah. Shut up. I am not. Well, need to say, if you can get out there, go vote early. Get your vote in, cast it now. Because I can tell you right now, what is getting the Democrats to shake their boots right now is the amount of Republicans that are actually voting fucking early this year. Like, it's an insane amount. More Republicans have voted early this year than they ever have.
That's not surprising.
And it's because, well, it's not surprising. It's also Donald Trump and the people that are campaigning for the Donald Trump campaign, Vivek Ramaswamy, Kirk. I can't remember his last name right now, but
Charlie
Kirk, RFK, everybody out there, Tulsi Gabbard, they're all pushing everybody to get out there and vote early. Mm-hmm. So let's freaking do it. If you can get out there and vote early, please, folks, do it. Because listen, anything can happen on Election Day. Anything can absolutely happen on Election Day. If you live in New England or you live in a place where there's snow, you could get walloped with a fucking snowstorm, which can make it harder for you to get out there to the voting booths. Or, God fucking forbid, but don't forget, the FBI just recently arrested a freaking dumb piece of shit that was planning to do a terrorist attack at a voting station on Election Day. So get out there, vote early so you don't run into this fucking bullshit that could possibly happen. Or just say the voting machines go down or something happens. I'm not going to mention a certain election year that may have happened in, but yeah.
So I just refreshed Polymarket. Trump is down a little bit now to 62.5. Kamala's 37.4.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more interesting to watch Polymarket on Friday, I think, during the Joe Rogan podcast. I really think keeping an eye on Polymarket on Friday, once the podcast is released, I think, because it's not going to be live, obviously. Joe Rogan's never done a live podcast, so it's going to be...
He used to do live.
He used to, but now it's all recorded shit.
Pre-recorded, yeah.
So, but when that podcast airs, it's going to be insane.
I'm a little bit disappointed because I do have a family photo shoot on Friday. So shit. I'm just gonna have to watch it late and catch all the highlights or whatever, but I won't be able to watch it as it launches.
And before I get to some of the other stuff out there, folks, because there's a couple of interesting things I want to touch on as well. There's a lot of different news that's happened throughout this week, but I do want to say one thing. During the last podcast, I told everybody how I quit vaping. We're still going fucking strong, baby. We are in what day we are right now? 22nd. So I'm 22 days in without vaping. But did I quit nicotine? Oh, hell no. If I would have quit nicotine, I would have been like JC Christopher, chomping off my fingernails and not having any fingernails left. I've been using these little bad boys here. I'm going to promote them once again. I use the Zins, baby. I'm using the Zins, and they help. They help with the nicotine craving, and it's fucking awesome.
You gotta switch over to Alp.
Alp, is that's Tucker Carlson's brand, right?
So I think it launches next month. No, I think it launches next month.
No, I'm down. If Tucker Carlson comes out with Elp and it's good, I will definitely be down with that. What's going on, dog?
So do you plan on trying to get off the nicotine altogether at any point?
Don't know. I want to at some point, but right now I need nicotine. I do. It's a drug. Nicotine legitimately is a drug, but
Coffee's a drug.
It is. It's my addiction right now. So I'll probably be on nicotine for a while, but if I can stop putting the nasty shit in my lungs, I have noticed my breathing's gotten better. So I'm good with that. I have noticed, so I had a lightheaded episode on Friday night, but I think the lightheaded episode may. So here's the other thing I'm doing, folks. Why not just put it all out there? Everybody knows I suck growing facial hair. So I am doing a test to see if I can get a full fucking beard.
Doesn't look like it's working yet.
No, not really. I mean, a little bit maybe on this side, but not that well. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a test. I did a bunch of YouTube videos and it looked like minoxidil, whatever you want to say. It works well on the face. So I've been trying to run that. So I'm doing minoxidil twice a day on my face, and I'm taking biotin vitamins once a day as well to see what happens. We'll run it for a couple months.
The little pokey thing? Like the pokey?
Oh, the thing. I do that once a week. I typically do that right before I go to bed. I'll stab the shit out of my face with it. Just roll it on there. The bunch of 1,000 needles go. Oh, it hurts like hell.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah. You can feel the needles puncturing your skin.
Jesus, dude.
Hey, man, I'm trying to grow that fucking full beard, Gary. Leave me alone. All right, folks, let's get into some other shit that's happening this week. That's happened this week, ladies and gentlemen. So we're already about an hour in. I didn't realize we were going to spend an hour on politics, but then again, we are so close to election. It's pretty easy to spend an hour on politics right now. Speaking of sins. All right. So are the liberals, let's play a game. I want to see y'all in the chat right now. We got a few people watching on other social media platforms, and we got a bunch of people on TikTok. Let's play a game. The game is, do you think the Democrats and the far liberals are going to blame Trump for this next news article? I'm going to read to you.
Yes.
Under health and food safety, folks, there's been an E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's Quarter Pounders has led to one death and multiple hospitalizations. This comes a day after Donald Trump was serving people French fries, Happy Meals, and everything else out of a McDonald's window.
That is insanely convenient.
I said that to the wife today because she told me about it when I was making dinner. I'm like, wow, really? I said, how long is it going to take before they start blaming Donald Trump for this? Like, I can see it now in my Facebook feed that Donald Trump is responsible for it. And when he's absolutely not, it's obviously something was wrong with the fucking burgers. There was some type of processing wrong with it in order for it to have E. coli.
And it takes time for those things to like get rolled out. Like, it's not like you go there one day and then it's all instantly, it's manufactured food. So it's like that shit, it takes a while for that stuff to get produced, stored, shipped, cooked, if that's what you want to call whatever they do. So it's like this problem probably started three weeks ago or more, right?
Oh, 100%. Sorry, I was looking at my far left liberal that I have on my Facebook right now to see if they posted anything about it yet. All right, so wait a minute. We're just talking about, I'm not going to say who. I'll keep them out of my mouth. Gary, you know who. I'm going to read who this post is from, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut from it. But here's a post. I told you I was going to see if something about McDonald's on my Facebook. Obviously, straight off the bat, there was.
Was it a trash can?
Oh my God. And they are blaming Trump. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. Let me read the post that's on Facebook. Are you ready? God help me. And here's where we're living, folks. All I want to say is the person I'm going to read this from, I'm not going to say their name, but they highly do suffer from a great thing called TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. All right. So if you got a friend out there that suffers from Trump Derangement Syndrome or a family member, you're probably going to read the same post. Here we go. So I have to blame Trump, the peach clown, and the Republicans. Trump went to pretend he worked at McDonald's, and today there's an E. coli at McDonald's. Maybe God was upset with Trump's McDonald's lie, and he brought E. coli. Trump is so full of shit, even McDonald's hamburgers think so. It's time to blame the peach clown and the Republicans. That is somebody who suffers so much from Trump derangement syndrome. They belong in a fucking mental ward. Absolutely. You're going to sit there, bring God into a play of it. There's shit wrong up in those fucking heads for people to think like that. I'm sorry. If people literally, just on Facebook, it took me 2 seconds to find a post for somebody blaming Trump for the E. coli breakout on fucking McDonald's. Like, what is wrong with people? What? I can't. I was joking when I said, watch me find it on Facebook. I didn't really think I was actually going to see somebody. And let's talk about God for a minute. Y'all understand that Kamala Harris kicked out 2 young teenagers out of her thing when they said Jesus is king. They got pulled out of her fucking
You're at the
event.
wrong rally.
Yeah, and she told me you're at the wrong rally. What does that tell you about Kamala? If she's booting out people that say Jesus is king and she tells them that they're at the wrong rally?
Did she actually kick them out, though?
She did. Yeah, they escorted them out.
So the party of compassion, love, and inclusiveness is all but.
Exactly. They're the party of hate and rhetoric BS.
And division.
Yes, and definitely division. I mean, hell, she's promising all the stuff that she's going to do for people. And it's all for... Oh, fuck. Okay, I don't want to be... The folks, I'm not racist, but dear God, everything that Kamala's saying that she's going to do for small businesses and stuff is for small businesses for people of color. I thought we're right now in America, as far as I know, every fucking American's hurting. Every American. It don't matter what color you are because color shouldn't even fucking exist in my mind. It's your character. And if you're going to help out small businesses, you help out every fucking small business, not just one who fits in a minority. I'm going to stop right there because that's a whole nother fucking podcast. I could go off on that just alone. Hey, look who it is. It's Zach. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach is in our chat.
Hey, what up, Zachy Poo?
But yeah, I'm not even going to go off on that one. That one will probably get me banned off of TikTok if I start going off. So let's go. Let's go on to a couple other things. There's an international conflict. Israel's reported strike on a Hezbollah official in Lebanon, escalating tensions in the region. So the Israel war is still ongoing, even though after they've taken out the head honcho, obviously rankings, if they take him out, somebody else stepped up to the rank. I'm sure we'll learn who their leader is here soon. But the war is still going on. They've also got multiple fights on different fronts. So that's a major shit show. And that everybody still needs to be watching. Because a war out in that region, we still have a huge possibility of having a nuclear war. And I'm more concerned of a nuclear war happening out in that region than I am right now with crazy ass Putin in Ukraine. Because see, even though Putin is a crazy motherfucker and he's got more screws loose than anybody else and he is an evil person, he's also a smart and intelligent man, just as Trump said. He is. And he's got the smarts knowing that if he fucks up and he does something with nuclear, that every country will get involved and it'll turn into be a full-blown nuclear war between every fucking, from coast to coast. And it's not going to be good for anybody. On the other hand, you go to the other side with the war with Israel and Iran. The Iranians are not that smart. They didn't even have money to do their nuclear shit until after Biden took away all of Trump's executive orders and gave Iran back their fucking money. Once he gave Iran back their fucking money, they started back up their nuclear program and started developing nuclear weapons again.
I mean, you can't say that they're not smart. They're playing a different strategy than we know about. Because, I mean, they're getting money from our government.
Touche.
So whatever they're doing is working right? Like, we don't like it, but our government's giving them money.
Touche.
So they're not stupid. They have a strategy, and whatever it is what it is, but they got money and they kicked up their nuclear production again.
Right. All right. I'll give you that. Let's go to the election integrity concerns. The government's not smart. The government's definitely not smart right now. And Kathy, I'll agree with you. I agree with you. They can't even tell you what the definition of a woman is. But let's go on environmental disaster. Hurricane Helene's aftermath includes AK, as the government says, misinformation and recovery efforts with significant casualties and damages reported. So they're still doing a recovery process on that throughout this week. Election integrity concerns, various reports on election misinformation, including efforts to combat false narratives during early voting. Now that's, all right, let's talk about that. So I am seeing still, I'm calling misinformation more from the left than I am on the right. There's a bunch. They're still pushing Project 2025, which everybody knows Trump has disavowed that multiple times. But yet the left is still saying, oh, Trump is still doing this. He still backs it. They still talk about JD being the Ford writer. Now, listen, JD Vance did have a part in writing Project 2025. But JD Vance is the VP and has stated he will go for whatever Trump wants to go for. That was the one thing my wife was concerned about. And we looked into it. But Trump is not for Project 2025. And I advise anybody who thinks that, please go to Trump's campaign website and read what Trump is pushing for. And what should make everybody happy is knowing that RFK and Tulsi Gabbard are going to be on the transitioning team, which is fucking awesome in my opinion. And I'll be honest, I'd be down to see Tulsi Gabbard run maybe in the future.
I like Tulsi.
No, Tulsi is great. I would have loved to see her run. I'm getting lightheaded. Time to take that shit out. I think I'm overdoing it on the nicotine. have you ever noticed that? Like, if you're just popping once in a while, like you're constant, like, oh shit, I should have never done.
I try to limit.
Do you?
Yeah.
I do that once in a while. I'll go like an hour or two without it, and then I'll pop. But sometimes when I'm doing this, like podcasting, streaming, or if I'm just up here working on the computer, working on AI shit, it's just like vaping, dude. I'm just like constantly like, oh shit. All right, let's go back to more news. Walmart staffer found dead in a walk-in oven, sparking investigations and discussion on workplace safety. Number one, what the fuck's a walk-in oven?
I was just going to say.
I've heard of walk-in freezers. What's going on, Krim? I've heard of walk-in freezers. I've never heard of a fucking walk-in oven. Like you would, now obviously an oven can't detect whether a human's inside of it, but you'd think a walk-in oven would have glass doors so you can see inside of it. So obviously this person got cooked. But how? That is fucking crazy. Okay, that's workplace safety. Yeah. I mean, maybe training. Maybe Walmart should train people, check the oven before you turn it on. Because you might be cooking up somebody. I don't mean to laugh, but that is just stupidity on all fucking levels. I'm all done with that news story. Are you looking up walk-in oven right now, Gary?
No, I got distracted on X. I got a bunch of notifications, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on all this?"
Matter of fact, you know what's funny is I'm pulling up all these different news stuff that's happened throughout the week from X. I'm using Grok.
I like Grok. Grok's fun.
Oh dear, JC, I am not repeating what you just texted me. I am not repeating that, but that is fucking hilarious. I'll tell Gary after the podcast.
JC, if you go to like YouTube and you watch us on YouTube and you type in the comments on YouTube, it'll pop up at the top of our screen right above Mark and I.
Dear
so I'm
God,
not
don't
saying
tell
that
that
you should do that, but
yeah, the chat shows on the top of my screen, so you could technically put it up there if you're on YouTube. All right, let's go to the next news thing. I'm getting off the Walmart employee being cooked in the oven. Oh, dear God. All right, legal and crime. A high-profile case of a woman accused of killing a man who jokingly asked her to shoot him highlighted legal oddities.
Wait, what happened? Say that again.
So a high-profile case of a woman accused of killing a man who jokingly asked her to shoot him.
I mean,
she should have done it, but he asked for it. But at the same time, it's still murder.
Yeah, but just,
he asked for it, but it's still murder.
Yeah, but just, careful what you wish for.
Oh, definitely be careful what you wish for. JC says, fuck around and find out. I mean, listen, if I sat there, Gary, and I walked up to you and you had firearms, I'm like, hey, shoot me, fucker. You going to shoot me?
Depends.
Fuck you. No, you shouldn't.
Oh, yeah. No.
No, you're an ass.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, bullshit.
I mean, maybe in the kneecap or something.
Nah, you'd probably put one in the head and two in the chest, you fuck. Don't lie.
Nah, not for you. I just want to make it hard to walk.
Oh, yeah. It's already hard enough for me to walk. Obviously, we've looked at my stats there from the Apple Health check.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, what is it at? What's it at today? 26% or whatever?
Oh, dear God. What is it called again? Hold on. What do they call it again?
Walking in asymmetry.
Walking asymmetry? Well, let's see what my walking asymmetry. My walking asymmetry is fucked, dude. And it's weird, but my wife and I were talking about it. There could be a couple of things that could be messing with my walking asymmetry. Number one, where do you keep your phone when you walk?
Well, it's measuring from your watch.
It's measuring from your watch?
Yeah.
Okay, so it does not measure from your phone?
No, it's under mobility. It should be measuring from your walk.
All right, so my walking asymmetry today is 33.7.
Mine's at 0, and right now my knee is swollen like a motherfucker because I went a little too heavy on squats last week.
So I'm wondering, I'll have to look into it, but there's a couple of different factors why my walking asymmetry could be off. Number one, I didn't use my backpack vacuum today, so it could be high when I'm working because of the backpack vacuum.
Okay.
But I also carry a firearm on my hip daily with a holster.
Yeah, but
that can mess up my hip.
30%, that's a big...
So is that saying I like walk with a limp, right?
That's saying you're walking with like a really severe limp.
Interesting.
If you did a little bit more mobility and stretching and took care of your old ass fucking body, you could probably get that number down a little bit. Old ass.
I'm not old. I'm young.
You're old, bro.
Gary, I identify as a 21-year-old male, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
You are a Democrat.
Oh, fuck.
You just proved all of our points.
Dear God. Moving on with more fucking news when Gary starts going in his bitch fest with me here. Oh, underneath the social issues news, discussions around missing migrant children claims emphasizing the need for factual reporting. Well, it is factual reporting. There is a bunch of minors that are being brought in through the border, and they are being sold and trafficked. It's been proven. There's actually a really great movie that Dan Bongino. Hold on. What is it? The wife and I watched it too. Hold on. What movie did Dan Bongino? 1 second. Let me find this one. I'll talk about this real quick. If I can remember the name, did Dan Bongino produce? He produced this one, and it was fucking awesome. Police State. Was it Police State? No, it wasn't Police State. There was another movie Dan Bongino did, but it wasn't Police State. It was basically about trafficking. It was just recently. It's about trafficking of children and so forth. It was really good. It was about a person who worked for Homeland Security. And basically, he went in there and was trying to help find this little girl and her brother to bring them back home. They got trafficked into the U.S.
So Dan Bongino.
Yeah, they're saying Police
State was last year.
Police State was last year. It was not Vice. Maybe it was Police State. I didn't think it was.
With Dinesh Rand Paul.
Definitely was not Police State. I'm looking at the cover right now. All right, kiddo, you go in your room. I'll be there in a minute. We're just going to wrap up here in a minute, okay? Yeah, I'll ask the wife at some point. Free the children. Yes. It's not free. The sound of freedom. There we go. D-Way, thank you so much. It's sound of freedom, Gary.
Yeah, okay.
Give me 1 second.
Was that Dan Bongino, though?
I think Dan Bongino's in it.
I don't see him listed on here.
So my son, dear God, my lovely son, he maybe Dan Bongino didn't do Sound of Freedom. I thought he did. He was pushing like Sound of Freedom's a damn good movie, but I'll be full warn you, it will. As a full grown man, I had tears in my eyes, and it pissed you off. It was one of those movies that pissed you off, made you sad, all at the same fucking time.
Yeah, it's the point of the movie is to like invoke.
Yeah, and it worked. And it's based on true facts. It's a true story. But back to my son here, and we're going to have to probably wrap it up here, folks. My lovely son decided when he was at school today, and I can't believe they allowed him, but they misplaced him. He literally fell asleep in one of the classrooms. Slept for 2 periods. Second and third block.
So
I don't know how they misplaced him.
What does that even mean?
That he wasn't checked in for 2 periods for his other 2 classes. So tell me, number one, how does a school misplace a child and not know that he's napping in the classroom? Where were the teachers if his head was on the desks sleeping? It doesn't make sense to me. But because now I can definitely tell he had a nap.
He's awake and it's almost 11.
Yeah. And he's going to hurt tomorrow. He's absolutely going to hurt tomorrow.
So that means you're going to hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, well, the wife's going to hurt even more. Because I work tomorrow night. So, yeah, he's got to be up at 6 a.m., get ready for school. He's going to hurt. It's not going to be a good day for him. But yeah, he keeps running in and out. I thought he went to sleep, but he just came back in here, said, my eyes hurt when I close them.
Because he's been like to the iPad for the past hour and a half, just like, you got to blink every once in a while there.
Well, he's listening to music, dude. He's like you back when you remember when you were a kid, you used to listen to fucking rock and that hard rock shit when you go to bed. And it drove me fucking nuts. You used to listen to like Kurt Cobain and shit like that.
First of all, Nirvana is the shit. So you can try to talk shit all you want, but Nirvana is fucking epic. And I have no idea what you're talking about. So.
Bullshit. Lying sack of shit.
Well, it's better than fucking, what is it? Boys to Men that you were listening to.
I was listening to Snoop Dogg and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Boys to Men was the shit back in the day when you wanted to get with the girls, okay? When you wanted to get with the girls and fit in with the females so you can possibly try to get lucky, it was Boys to Men and All for One all day long. That's how you do it, okay? They like that fucking shit. Just saying.
Mark was listening to NSYNC.
Space State says your father likes the Eagles. Hey, the Eagles is badass, Space State.
Eagles are dope.
But my father, who are you talking about here?
I mean, either one of us, it's the same dad. And I'm pretty sure dad liked the Eagles.
Yes,
anything from the 60s and 70s he was pretty into.
The Eagles were badass, man. The Eagles had some good tracks.
But it's funny now because it was funny because I pulled up some Nirvana the other day to show my wife, and I hadn't listened to Nirvana in fucking I don't know how long, but it's like I listened to that shit so much that I still like know all the lyrics, like everything that popped up. It's like, damn, I haven't heard this song in so long and I still know it. But now I'm like a hip hop head. Like I listen to mostly hip hop now. It's pretty funny.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that was the other thing that's pretty cool. I think I showed it too. But I'm surprised you say you listen to hip hop, but an artist, well, he's kind of more of a country artist because he won the CMA Awards. But Jelly Roll. I can't believe you didn't know who Jelly Roll was. Dude, that shocked the shit out of me. Like, I'm sitting there because I go through my feed on Facebook, and it's funny because what I did is I was playing around with the new AI software that you can copy and paste the podcast link into this AI, and it'll generate a couple of viral clips from that podcast, the audio clips from it. So then you select that clip, and it'll generate like a little video for that clip for you. And I did it with Jelly Roll and Joe Rogan. And I clipped it up, added a little audio background to it, just like a little music, threw it in there, and uploaded tag. I don't know. No, I didn't even tag him. I just hashtag Jelly Roll. Next thing you know, a couple hours later, I saw Jelly Roll liked it. The legit. I'm like, this is a fake fucker. And I look, I'm like, holy shit. No, that's the real fucking Jelly Roll. And of course, I went out of my comfort zone. I was like, hey, Jelly Roll, since you liked my post, I'd love to have you on the podcast. I ain't heard from him since. No, fuck no. He's like, fuck this guy. Yeah. Jelly Roll's like, fuck this guy. Who the hell's this Mark G show guy? No, fuck him.
Yeah, small potatoes.
All right, folks, I'm going to try getting through some of this real quick because my son is going crazy. Technology and space, SpaceX involvement in a tragic event where an employee's body was found, drawing attention to workplace safety and high tech. Damn. So we have a body found in Walmart's walked-in oven, and a body was found somewhere with SpaceX.
So the interesting thing is, if you read that tagline again, so when it comes to SpaceX, they're starting to bring in, let's start questioning the workplace safety for SpaceX. But if it happens at Walmart or fucking anywhere else, it's like, oh, this is just a tragic accident. These things just happen.
Oh, no, they're coming after Elon hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But when it comes to Elon, they've been going after Elon fucking ever since he bought X.
All right, but they're coming after hard now, especially, you saw what Elon's doing out in Pennsylvania, right?
No.
Every day, if you sign the petition, if you live in Pennsylvania, you sign Elon Musk's petition that he has, you enter in to win $1 million for each rally he goes to.
Oh, that's it.
And every day he's at the rally, he pulls out a name, and that person wins a fucking $1 million.
Oh, nice.
And they're trying to sit there and say, oh, well, that what he's doing is illegal, but it's not, because Elon Musk is a private citizen. He's not a politician.
Yeah, and it's more of a, it's more like a lottery, right?
Right, yeah.
Like if you're just pulling out a name out of a hat or whatever, that's a lottery. He's not, it's not like necessarily bribery, and I'm sure that that's what they're trying to label it as, right?
That's exactly what they're trying to label it as. Let's see. Transport and travel news. The little airline that could. Lebanon's national carrier braving Israeli airstrikes, showing resilience in aviation. So they're still flying private airlines out there. Public health and IV fluid shortage impacting surgical procedures, highlighting some. Wow, I didn't even know that. We have an IV shortage. Interesting.
Well, all the blood's tainted nowadays, so nobody can.
I'm proud to be a pure blood, baby. I'm proud to be a pure blood. The education and policy, state boards moving towards drug price caps affecting healthcare policies. You know, it's amazing. I believe, I'm not sure, but didn't Donald Trump put a price cap on insulin during his administration? And then Biden walked back on it, and then he did it like a year later and is trying to say that he's the one that did it.
No taxes on tips.
Right. If I'm not, wasn't Donald Trump the first one to say that? Kamala Harris, like, oh my God, that's bringing him up in the polls. And then she's like, I'll do no tax on tips. Yeah. Kamala Harris, she's the parrot. That should be her new nickname, the parrot. I should make a meme to have AI make a parrot with Kamala Harris as the head.
Do it.
And then put the captions, no tax on tips.
No tax on tips. No tax on tips.
That'd be a good little meme. I think I'm going to have to do one. Don't take my ideas, fuckers, for listening to this live.
Or do it. Just do it better than Mark.
Yeah, fuck you. Criminal justice officers on leave after a violent arrest on a deaf man, raising questions about police conduct. A lot of this, folks, I'm not really into the context. I just did little snippets of the news just to see. Public safety, a gasoline truck explosion in Uganda, resulting in numerous deaths, focusing on disaster response.
Where was that in?
Uganda? Am I saying that fucking wrong, you fucker?
Never heard of Uganda.
Yeah, you motherfucker. Ooh, I can't fuck you. I'm bad with words and you fucking know it, you little dick.
Yeah, but you read all the time. You should be really good at words.
Gary, 2 words for you. Know what? No, 4 words for you. Shut the fuck up.
I thought you were going to say you're beautiful, but
No, not at all. Oh, shit. All right. Yeah, I think we're going to get out of here, though. I got to go tend to the little man. I got to go tend to the kid.
you're going to take him to Uganda?
Fuck off, Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all hanging out here with our nonsense of a podcast. Y'all are fucking awesome. We'll come back for next week, talk some more shit. Next week will be a week before elections, so it should be interesting then. We'll have a lot to talk about. But we're going to end this now because I think I already hear my son getting ready to come back in here. So we're going to end this out, y'all. Y'all have been fucking awesome. I appreciate y'all. Let's get the fuck out of here. Here we go.
You've been listening to The Mark G Show. You may know them from their political commentary, but there's a lot more to the fellas than
Double tap.
You'll also have